guys, and welcome to this week's section of the Coffee Hero Show, showing you what's new in this week. So these are the new titles that have arrived into the store, going out for sale this Wednesday. It's a combination of different things. It's a combination of, titles we've got back in stock after a little while. It's a combination of new titles that are out this week. It's a combination of things I think should be in the shelves. But it's sort of a mix of omnibuses, compendiums, trade paperbacks, tons and tons of stuff. You may remember from last week's video that I stated that a lot of stuff was missing, and that was the case again this week, but it was mostly single issues missing. So this week it was a case of the trades and so forth that were missing from last week have come this week, so tons of new stuff coming into the store this week. I mean, 3 nice little piles here just behind me. So as I say, some of them are titles we've had in before, some of them are ones that have just been out of stock for a while. So kick things off, you can see here's quite a few omnibuses and so forth. Walking Dead seems to have come really back into style at the moment. I know people have been talking about the TV show has really picked up again. Lots of people reading it from the start. We had five copies of trade paperback volume 1 last week, and they all sold out by Saturday, so was able to get that back in stock pretty sharpish. Now the trades are a good way to read it in terms of you get 6 issues at a time, you get complete story arcs. But if you're ever going to read it and you're going to commit to it, what I recommend are the compendiums. So the compendiums are big bad boys. They are pricey. They come in over 50 quid a compendium, but they contain 48 issues at a time. If you compare that to trade paperbacks, which are 13, 14 and have 6 issues at a time, then the compendiums really do represent the best value. And we've got all of them in stock now. There were a few out of stock there for a while. So this is compendium 3, which covers 97 to 144. So that'll cover your Negan years, your Negan introduction and so forth. You've got compendium 4 here, which is the last compendium. This takes you right up to the end, which is 145 to 193. This is the thickest of all the compendiums, simply because 193 was a bigger issue as well. And then, of course, the one where it all began, compendium 1. Compendium 2 is already down on the shelves, so now we'll have 1 to 4 all complete. So again, this is cover number 1 to 48, and The Walking Dead really is one of the best comics ever written. We're very much re-enjoying going through it again through The Walking Dead Deluxe, which is the colorized versions. Those compendiums are the original black and white versions, so if you want to read it how it was originally intended, and all together, as I say, those compendiums are great value. And it's something of a specialty for Kirkman as well, because back in stock again this week we have Invincible. Again, we have a couple of volumes here. Volume 2 is downstairs. Here's volume 3. This one covers 97 to 144, so this takes you right to the end of Invincible. And then if we just go down here, again, back in stock is Compendium 1. So again, this is where it all starts. This is issue 0 to 47 as well, and some supplemental material. So if you want to get into the great story of Mark Grayson, you want to go further than the animated show has already went, then these are the volumes to jump into. Same again, the trade paperbacks are shorter ways of getting into it, I suppose, 6 issues at a time, that kind of thing. But again, if you're going to commit to it, I highly recommend compendiums is the way to go. So what else we got in this week? So we've got a new Batman Little Gotham title in. I'm a huge fan of Little Gotham. It's done by Dustin Wayne. Beautiful painted art style. This is a new one called Calendar Days. And they're obviously starting to aim these at slightly younger readers. Now, the thing with Little Gotham is I think it's great for all ages, not just younger readers. But you can see from the reduced size format of the book that they're aiming it at a slightly younger audience. If you're looking to get like a younger reader into the Batman mythos, that's a great place to go, because there's tons of deep cuts. It shows every character. It's not violent. It's not, there's no graphic language or anything like that, but it does have the core essence of the characters. One that I've been struggling to get in, and I've been trying to get in for absolutely ages, is Did You Hear What Eddie Gein Done? So this is a retelling of the infamous serial killer Eddie Gein. It's by Harold Schechter and art by Eric Powell. Eric Powell, of course, is really well known for The Goon, for Big Man Plans, for tons of stuff. But this was one, it was originally a Kickstarter, I believe, but then there was such demand for it that they elevated it to a full print run through Albatross Comics, which is who The Goon is printed through. Managed to get a couple of copies in. These will go quick because, again, I had so many demands for them, or not demands, but so many requests for them. Honestly, no one demands anything, but it's just good to have that back in stock, or finally in stock, I should say. Next up we have Thor and Loki Double Trouble. Again, another great all ages one. Anyone who's been enjoying the Loki TV show, this shows the brotherly dynamics. Again, we've had copies in before. Again, it sold out really quickly, so good to have that back in the store. Another compendium that seems to just fly out the door as soon as we get it in is Spawn Compendium. So obviously Spawn at the moment is going through quite a surge in popularity through King Spawn, through Gunslinger Spawn. You've got The Scorched coming up, which is going to be the team book. But this is where it all began. And again, compendiums are the way to go with these. This basically covers issues 1 to 50 at a time. So if I had to guess, there's going to be 6 compendiums to bring you all the way up to 300. And by the time that's released, the main Spawn series will probably be around issue 350. So compendium 7. But same again, those don't last long anytime they come in. Which is also true of Jeff Lemire's Sweet Tooth. Same again, compendium of the entire series. Of course, it's a Netflix show now, produced by Robert Downey Jr. Gets tons of great notices. Haven't watched them myself, but have read the compendium. And same again, I mean, it's the full 40 issue series, full color, beautiful compendium all together. So can't go wrong there. My customary mention of Nailbiter Volume 1 when it's back in stock, because I recommend this to everybody and it keeps selling out. But I managed to grab like 7 or 8 copies this time, so I have tons of copies of that just to make sure, because again, I just spread the word on Nailbiter as much as I can. Another good one to have in again is Redneck. So this is the Donny Cates Lissandro Esteran book, the Cunniff on colours, and this is your Deep South Set Vampire series, which is coming to an end, I believe. But this is volume 1, which I believe is the first 6 issues altogether. Image comic series, Donny Cates, can't go wrong. Some new X-Men hitting this week as well. So we've got Al Ewing's Sword Volume 1. Valerio Schiti is the artist on this one. And again, this is your Volume 1 of your Dawn of X series, all of the Jonathan Hickman X-line coming in. So that's the first volume for Sword. Speaking of Donny Cates, I've been re-getting in his Venom run from the start in terms of the trade paperback. So we've got Volume 2 here, which is The Abyss. Predominantly ran Stegman on art, although there were a couple of fill-in issues from Ivan Coelho and Joshua Cassara on that one. X-Men Corner once again, and we're up to Volume 3 of X-Force, which for me is the best of all the X-Men titles through Hickman's run. This is written by Benjamin Percy and art by Joshua Cassara, who was someone we chatted to in the podcast not that long ago. Really cool guy, really interesting, tons of great insights about the industry and the craft. Definitely worth checking that out. And then as well as the Venom Volume 2 there, Venom Volume 1 back in stock. So this is Donny Cates' run from the beginning, and again ran Stegman on art all the way through here. So it all begins here with this storyline called Rex. Next up we have a rather beautiful hardcover, 25th Wedding Anniversary Deluxe Edition for Superman and Lois Lane. So we're very much celebrating maybe a slightly more innocent time in comics, shall we say. But this basically contains the landmark Superman The Wedding album, as long as a lot of lead-up issues, Superman 118, The Honeymoon Adventures of Superman 541, Action Comics 728, Superman The Man of Steel 63, and some new extras as well. So if you're a comic traditionalist who loves the idea of Supes and Lois getting hitched, that's the place to go for that. Next up, we have the latest volume of Daredevil. So we have another Chip Zdarsky and Marco Cicchetto joint. Also Mike Hawthorne doing some fill-in artwork on this. This is very much to do with the taking over of the mantle of Daredevil by Elektra. This covers some of the Keenan Black stuff as well, which, to be honest, was a lesson in how to incorporate an event into your title without losing the antithesis of what that title is, because the Keenan Black times were brilliant, but they slotted effortlessly into the story and didn't just dislodge what they were doing. We had a few requests last week for some Cosmic Ghost Rider stuff. So this is Cosmic Ghost Rider from the beginning. This was the first series done by Donny Cates, and this was a story arc called Baby Thanos Must Die. It was all about Cosmic Ghost Rider going back in time, and if he kills Thanos when he's a baby, then none of the bad stuff that happens in the Marvel Universe will ever happen. So it contains the entire mini-series of that, which was 5 issues, but also some material from Thanos Legacy #1. Next up, we have the next volume of Ta-Nehisi Coates' Captain America. So we're up to volume 5 of this, which has taken us up to issue 30, which is the end of the run as well, I believe. So yeah, Ta-Nehisi Coates seemed to be a run that polarized a few people. Some people loved it, some people weren't quite so sure, but if you fancy jumping into a bit of cap action, there we go. Back in stock again after recently selling out. The Boys Volume 1, the first omnibus of this. So this will cover your first 14 issues, yep. This includes the storylines, Name of the Game, Cherry, Get Some, and Glorious 5-Year Plan. So if you want to get yourself ready for The Boys, returning with Season 3 soon on Amazon, that's where it all kicks off in the comics. Another one that sold out recently was Batman Earth 1 Volume 3, the long-awaited conclusion, or is it a conclusion, to Jeff Johns and Gary Frank's Batman Earth 1 series. I happened to take all 3 volumes of this away when I went away recently. I went over to visit Vicky's folks, and I read all 3 of these back to back, one sitting. Fantastic stuff. We also have Kieran Gillen's Eternals. Again, you want to get yourself set up and ready before the Eternals movie hits later in the year. Isad Ribic on art with this one. And this is the complete first story arc of the Eternals. So again, you're getting issues 1 to 6 here of the Eternals. So it's a good primer and letting you know who these characters are. Department of Truth back in stock, The End of the World. So this is the first 6 issues, I believe, first 5 issues. But it is the complete first story arc for James Tynion IV and Martin Simmons' conspiracy-based story. If you're a fan of X-Files, fan of conspiracy theories, that kind of stuff, this is essential. So just glad to get it back in stock. I've got one next up for you 2000 AD fans. The reason I got this one in actually was Rory McConville is the writer on this. So Rory McConville, of course, again, we chatted to him in the pod a couple of times, once with Declan Shelby about Time Before Time, and the one before that about his crime series as well that he launched, Write It in Blood. So I just saw that he was the writer on this. This was from his 2000 AD days before he came through to do those Image titles. You've also got Les Cott working on this one as well. So this is a complete volume, and I don't know an awful lot about it, but it looks really, really stylish. And when you've got the tagline of Vatican exorcist, freelance paranormal investigator, and altogether dashing rogue, that sounds pretty good to me. Might actually jump into that myself. We've got volumes of Philadelphia back in stock, volumes 1 and 2. Again, one of our favourite vampire series of recent times. Rodney Barnes, Jason Sean Alexander. This all sounds like one long plug for the podcast, but again, we chatted to those guys over lockdown, and you can find that in the podcast network. One that I was excited to see released this week is Marjorie Finnegan, Temporal Criminal. So this is going to be an 8-issue series in total, and what they've done is they've split it into 2 volumes. So the first volume contains the first 4 issues. This week, issue 5 comes out as well. So you can actually jump straight into this and then jump on the singles if you want. Or you can wait for the second volume in trade if you want to do that. But it's just a good way of AWA keeping their £9 price point for their graphic novels instead of putting all 8 together and charging 14, 15, that kind of thing. We have a big omnibus arrived in this week, which is a collection of What If, the original Marvel series. So this is volume 1. You know, this is obviously very timely. The TV show's recently been on, and this prints a heck of a lot of classic what ifs. You know, what if Jane Foster had, found the hammer of Thor? What if Spider-Man had joined the Fantastic Four? You know, what if Conan the Barbarian walked the earth today? What if the world knew that Daredevil is blind? So tons of great stuff in there. You've got a total of 21 issues in there as well. So tons of content. And then the last one to come is Velvet. So this is a hardcover collection of the Ed Brubaker, Steve Epting Spy series. I'm a huge fan of this, and this is a beautiful hardcover for this one as well. This contains the entire series. Imagine James Bond, but it's a female James Bond set in the 60s and 70s. Brilliant storytelling, old school storytelling, and the art is phenomenal as well. So yeah, that's all the new stuff that has arrived in this week. So again, anything appeals to you, get in touch. We can always hold bits and pieces over. But they will all be going onto the shelves this Wednesday for New Comic Book Day, which is the 22nd of September. So as ever, hope this proved useful to you guys. Hope you see something you like. And I look forward to seeing you in the store. So take it easy.